Keeoh paid 4 Fiverr editors and got one of his friends named Trance to edit montages for some of his Valorant clips. Then he and I sat down and reacted to those blind, and that video is available on Keeoh's channel right now. Oh, we get a second intro.
Second intro, Valorant montage.
I think he's used the same effect on every kill so far.
Okay, yeah, I'm a bit lost. For $5, that's pretty solid. You gotta realize how much money you put in and what's the quality that you get out. 6 out of 10 seals. So far, this one shows like the clips a lot more, and I like that.
Yeah, I can like understand what. Ooh, a little VHS.
Ooh, okay. That was substantially better than I was expecting.
It was a lot less overwhelming.
Maybe an 8.5 out of 10. Okay, that's actually
pretty cool.
Wow.
Ooh.
There's a little too much dead space in that clip. I really do like the intro and the outro he did here. That is super unique. It looks really, really nice. Just because of how expensive it is, I'd say 4 out of 10 seals.
Oh, we made your Viper all blue.
I like that. It's purple, cool. Dude. You're so colorblind.
I am, okay?
Go. Oh!
This is so good.
Dude, this is actually sick, dude.
That's like a great mix of like
what?
The cool effects and like showing off the clip like we were just talking about.
I'm gonna go with like a solid 9 out of 10.
Oh, I like that.
Oh, okay. Dude, what?
Interlude.
What is this? It's so good. Easy 10 out of 10 seals. No doubt. Yeah, you can't get better than that.
In this video, I want to take a deeper dive into these edits and see if I can't figure out how these editors do some of the effects and transitions they do for montage editing. I want you to keep in mind that I am by no means a montage editor at all. Also, you definitely want to stay tuned to the end of this video where I actually interview Trance, one of the best montage editors that Keeoh and I have seen. I interview him on not only how long he's been editing, what software he uses, but also some more detailed information about his workflow. He also has some good advice for editors starting out, so you're definitely not going to want to miss that. If you're new around here and you haven't already, please consider hitting that subscribe button, as I do upload quite a few videos about editing and behind the scenes of the work I do. Also, as you can see up in the top left, there's my Twitch chat. I live stream a lot of behind the scenes of my YouTube content, as well as more in-depth editing streams where I dive more into my work. So if you guys are interested in that, you can follow me at twitch.tv/AvesTV. Without further ado, let's take a look at these Fiverr edits. During our first watch through, I definitely noticed that some of these montages had a really long intro versus some of them just jumped straight into the clip. So I kind of wanted to talk about that. And the $5 montage is actually going to have a 12-second intro using nearly 1/4 of your time before there's any clips. The second one is actually going to be 3 seconds. This one has one cinematic shot, no text or anything, and jumps straight into a clip. I like that, but I think maybe it could use a little bit more of an actual intro. The third one is going to have a 7-second intro. I feel like this is maybe just a little too long. So I think 5 seconds in a 1-minute montage is a perfect length for an intro. So the $50 one, pretty much right on the dot, a 5-second intro. And I think that's probably the best intro we've seen. Trance's is going to be a little bit longer, but I believe his montage is actually, yeah, his montage is also quite a bit longer. So it kind of makes sense to have a little bit longer of a montage intro on a bit longer of a montage. Pacing is one of the main things I focus on with my editing, so it's always something I'm looking for. Another interesting thing to me about a gaming montage specifically is the use of letterbox or the absence of letterbox. I think for the most part, most editors probably don't use letterbox. And in this case, 2 of the editors did use letterbox on the whole thing. I think it kind of takes away just because of how much UI is on the top and bottom of the screen. You lose a lot of the kill feed, for instance. So one thing that all 5 editors used is time remapping. And basically what time remapping is slowing down and speeding up footage to match, in this case, the music of the song, so that every kill and every shot can be synced up with the music. And basically they can use that to sync more than just maybe one kill in a sequence where you get an ace. You can now sync all 5 of those kills up to the music, and it also helps with the pacing a lot because you're skipping the gaps between the kills basically by speeding up those parts to just hit boom, kill, boom, kill, boom, kill on the beats, you're basically skipping the chunk in between the kills. So not only does it help with pacing, but it also helps with the feeling of the montage feel that you need to accomplish. When you're doing a montage edit, you need to be syncing things to the music because the music is what's driving the entire edit and the entire feeling. Now, something that the $5 editor did that I don't think any of the other editors did is that you see the screen basically rotating the entire time, especially if I jog through this timeline. The screen is basically like doing this weird, like almost like handheld feel where it's just kind of like floating around in space. And I don't necessarily love it. I think it looks fine. It doesn't really add anything. And I think that's my critique of a lot of montage style editing, is that I feel like a lot of the time the effects and the edits that a lot of editors use aren't really adding anything to the footage, and often it can be too much to the point where it's taking away. And that's one thing Keeoh and I touched on a lot in this edit specifically, is that there was so much going on and like so much flashing and zooming in and that rotation that was constantly happening. It was very jarring to watch when there was just so much happening. And I feel like that's a critique I have of most montage editors. A good editor goes unnoticed. What I'm saying is that a bad editor is like, you start really noticing the editing to the point where it's taking away from the actual content of what you're watching. So my style of editing is just trying to accentuate already good content. And I've talked about that before. I'll talk about it again. That is the main thing that I focus on with my editing, is what can I do to make this video better without taking away from how good it already is. And I feel like a lot of montage editing kind of misses the mark there. But let's go ahead and move on to the second edit. This is one of our favorite ones here. This was the $10 one. Again, this music is copyrighted, so I'm not going to be able to play the audio to you. So one of my favorite effects here actually was this Vhs effect that he decided to use. It's just something you don't really see that much, and I always am a fan of changing the aspect ratio if it's for a good purpose. I really like the use of the VCR effect here, but I don't really know why he used it in this specific place, at least. $10 one is definitely a very good edit. Like we mentioned, I think we rated it an 8 or an 8.5. Definitely a very good edit. The intro of number 3 is by far my favorite. You just don't see an intro like this very often. I feel like especially for montage content, you normally see some sort of map cinematic with 3D text that's like tracked to a part of the map and stuff, which is fine. It looks good, but I always love seeing something unique and something new. And I really like what he did here with this like glitchy looking cool font. I think maybe he did a little bit too much, and I did mention that it's maybe a little too long. These sun rays are really cool, and this isn't the craziest clip. It's a pretty cool clip. But I really like these sun rays. I think it probably hangs for too long as well, but it is a really cool effect that I haven't really seen, so I did want to mention that. But again, with this edit, I think there's just a lot going on. Also, this is the edit that does a lot with audio. But it just kind of cuts back in randomly. And that's really jarring seeing it a second time like this. Overall, I think it's a cool effect to do like the that he does here at the shot. The problem is that he uses basically the same impact sound for every single kill, to the point where now it's not even a cool thing. I think if he would have just used it on the drop as like a cool like boom, this is like a sick clip to start the montage, instead of using it so much. And I'm noticing now, I wasn't really noticing when we were watching it the first time, but the sound design of the $25 one specifically, like even right here, you hear it just hard cut to the next clip. And I don't even do that in my editing. Like you hear, I think it's Keoh's voice you hear just cut. Yeah, you do. You hear him go like, huh? And then it cuts, and just like little stuff like that, those little tiny details you probably wouldn't notice if you were just watching through it. But as an editor, that's the kind of stuff that I'm going to look for. All right, let's take a look at the best Fiverr video, which is also the most expensive Fiverr video, the $50 edits. There is a lot of repetition of that same impact on like every beat, but for some reason it's working really well for him here. I think part of it is how short that transition is, and it doesn't zoom in like a ridiculous amount. I also think the transitions in this one are really solid. He's definitely just using, if I had to guess, I would say that this is just some sort of overlay footage that you download and put on top of it and then use a blending mode. I use transitions like this a lot. And then he's also doing like a physical transition of the footage itself, and you see his crosshair there actually from the second clip. So he's basically zooming out of this one, and then he starts very zoomed in on the next clip to zoom out into the regular clip. But either way, this is a very strong edit as well. And without further ado, let's take a quick look at the trance montage. Love how the video starts nice and slow, and then it cuts to black right here. Oh, and I just realized, actually, I couldn't see it that well when we were watching in Discord, but he has this like nice subtle flash. It's not too much that goes with like the dot, 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 like right before the drop. And I love this little gap here in the middle. I think it kind of, like, there's a ton of hype stuff here, and then we kind of reset back to I think some of the other montages. The song didn't stay so hype, but the clips just stayed like the same pace and same edit. And he used the song here to kind of reset the viewer into like, okay, get ready because it's going to be sick again. And then he comes back to this. Is just so clean, so nice, so smooth. Just carries the clips so well, accentuates the best parts of the clips while still exactly showing you what the clip actually is. If you watch his face, he doesn't actually say, oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh.
Because he actually does say it here. If you played this clip full speed, he would say, oh my gosh, right here. But this is playing in slow motion, so you just see his, oh, but you hear the oh my gosh, and that works really well. That is a pretty quick look at all 5 of these montages. I think they all did a pretty good job, especially given the price and timeline of delivery on most of these. Reiterate that one more time. Don't try to get me fired. I do a completely different set of editing than any of these guys. During the live stream when Keeoh and I were watching the edits, Trance, one of the editors, was actually in the Twitch chat, and I got the idea to sit down with him and basically kind of interview him about his creative process while editing and ask some more specific questions about montage editing, since I myself am not really a montage editor. So enjoy this conversation I had with Trance. He's a fantastic montage editor. Check out his link in the description down below if you guys haven't already. Go sub to his channel. He's an incredible editor. And once again, Trance, thank you for sitting down to talk with me.
I was just watching that whole thing and that was pretty exciting, not gonna lie.
Dude, that edit was sick. So how long do montage edits usually take for you?
I'd say maybe 12 hours in total, like 1 hour a day maybe.
Nice. So you probably finish one in like a week or so.
Yeah.
That kind of leads into my next question pretty well. How do you like decide what you want to do with the clips and stuff? Like, what's your process?
Oh, I'll try and like think of something cool in my head, try to like recreate it, and then go from there, like improvise on what I can make it, what I can do to make it look better. You know what I mean? My process is like, I put the clips together first and sync them with the song with all the time remapping, and then I add the effects.
Okay.
So I'll do that. And then once I do the effects, sometimes I'll change up the remapping to help me like make the effects look better.
What do you do in Premiere versus After Effects?
In Premiere, I do basically everything. I put together the clips, I put effects on, and then with the song, I add the sound effects and everything. In After Effects, I only do the 3D text for the intro and stuff, and some like masking probably in my other montages.
Yeah.
And yeah, just the text, the intro, and some like just better looks on some clips, and then putting them in Premiere Pro.
What made you like get into editing?
When I was in 6th grade or 7th grade, I saw like a CS:GO montage. I tried to recreate it like with the same song, and then I found out like it's pretty fun seeing my own clips in a cool montage. So I just started like improving, looking up tutorials and stuff like that.
And that's mostly what you do, is like your own clips, right?
Yeah.
How old are you now?
I'm 16.
Dang, for real? That's crazy. That's awesome, dude. How did you learn how to edit?
One of my good friends suggested that I use Premiere, and so he had an Adobe account already, so he just lended me his Adobe account.
Nice.
I installed Premiere, and I just started like working from there, just looking up tutorials and stuff.
What is your favorite part about editing, you think?
Probably putting the effects together, because seeing it without effects is just kind of bland, and then you add the effects and everything just looks so much more cinematic and cool.
So you said you had presets for a lot of those like transitions and effects and stuff?
Yeah.
Do you like make those yourself, or did you just like get them off the internet?
I made a couple of them, like the zoom in and the zoom out, and then there's other ones I use that are from the internet, just because it's pretty difficult to recreate on my own.
Yeah, for sure.
For me, I made my own like impact effects on the kills.
Nice.
So I make a bunch of presets for those every time I come up with a new impact.
Would you say you mostly use your own presets?
Yeah, mostly.
Nice. How long have you been editing?
Probably like from like sixth grade to now I'm in 10th. Probably like 4 or 5 years maybe.
What would you tell somebody that's new to editing?
It's pretty difficult at first, but once you get the layout of your software and like what you have in mind and try to envision what you want to do, is like look up tutorials. I feel like those can help you like get along pretty well with your montages if you're making any, or just like highlight videos. It's pretty simple to sync it up with the music, or at least like put together the clips. But sometimes if you're new to editing, you won't be able to know how to do that. So like learning that skill from online somewhere is always really helpful.
Can you think of anything else you want to talk about? Maybe about this edit specifically? Was there anything like cool that you did with this edit that you like a lot?
Yeah, one of the parts I liked a lot was like the zoom out effect. I feel like that adds like, I don't know, it's just like really cool to me.
Yeah, that one was really cool. I haven't really
I feel like
seen
it's
that.
unique in its own way, and it's like different, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's
like,
just different.
dope, dude. Thank you for sitting down with me. Appreciate you.
No problem, man. Anytime, man.
Great editing. Keep it up.
Yep.
So there's some insight from a normal content editor looking at some montage editing. And I also really hope you guys enjoyed that interview conversation with Trance. It was very insightful for me, and I really enjoyed sitting down and talking with him. If you guys did enjoy and you haven't already, please consider hitting that like button as well as the subscribe button. It really helps me out. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Until then, as always, do the right thing, good vibes only, and never stop creating. Peace.